Hello, hello, my beautiful goddesses. Welcome to another episode of the new money series, The Energetics of Wealth and Money. And today, my goddesses, I bring an amazing topic, an amazing episode. This is the continuation of the previous two episodes that I did, and they were about how to communicate or talk about finances and money with your partner. So I made two videos, one for the questions you should be asking in early dating. You know, when you start dating, when you start getting to know each other, I put those questions there. You can find the video in the description below. The second video, it's about the questions you should be asking before getting married. You know, in that engaged stage, I put the questions there that you should be asking your future husband about money. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 8 most important questions you can be asking your husband once you're married. So if you're married, either recently married, you are maybe 5 years married, 8 years married, 10 years married, 20 years married, God bless you. And I feel very happy for you. These questions are always important. And these questions you can ask throughout the journey of marriage. It's not like you just ask them once and that's it. No, because you both as individuals and as couple, as a marriage, you are continuously growing and evolving and learning. Not just that, but also growing financially together. So these questions, you can always ask them. Either you asked them last year and you can ask them again this year. And always, like, you can tweak these questions throughout your journey. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Olga Nelson, known as Polkis, and I am a money coach. I'm also an investor, an engineer. I am a mom. I'm a wife, and I'm over here to serve you. And I'm very excited for today's topic. So I have my notes here and I have my Jamaica tea, un tecito de agua de Jamaica. Honestly, just because you're married now, that doesn't mean that the money talk is over. Actually, no. Actually, once you're married, this is where you have the opportunity to grow, to expand. That's what marriage is about. One of your biggest expansions that you're going to have is in your marriage or your intimate relationship. Because I feel that talking about money is very important throughout, either through friendships or early stage of dating or engagement, and most importantly in marriage, especially if you want to build a business together, buy investments, a house, taking care of your parents, and having kids. Obviously, these conversations are always going to come up. So it's important for you to know how to communicate, because these questions are more important than ever. And these questions are not about judging the other person or feeling judged. They're about bringing clarity in your relationship, in your marriage. This is about teamwork with your spouse, with your husband. And this is about building together, okay? So when we ask these questions, don't feel that you're going to be judged or you're going to be judging the other person. Remember that marriage is a partnership. Now you're one. So this is about building together. Number one, the question number one is, what are our shared financial goals? This question is very important because as you start living together, maybe moving together or moving to another state, you're going to be talking about, like, hey, what are our shared financial goals? Are we buying a house? Like, when are we going to buy the house? So how can we work together towards that? You know, have a shared financial goal. Are we gonna retire early? Are we gonna give my business a shot or your business a shot? Or maybe you both entrepreneurs, or maybe you wanna quit your job. So this is like, what are your shared financial goals? You know, like, these are the things that you need to start talking. Because when you are aligned, this is one of the things that is going to contribute for you to be together, you know, to be aligned and focused to continue being together. So it's important to always ask, what are our shared financial goals? This is something that me and my husband continuously talk about since the moment we met. We both are very ambitious, motivated when it comes to money, very ambitious and entrepreneur mindset. So we always want to be building. So I feel that we are constantly talking about money, especially because we have shared businesses, and you know, we have different things going on too. It's always nice to be aligned and in the same page financially. So this is one easy question that you can start asking. And I feel like this is going to bring up a lot of information that you can continue to discuss. So question number 2, how much debt do we actually have? Have you actually sit down to run your budget, to have your financial report for both of us? Have you checked how much debt do you actually have? Remember in the previous video where I talk about before getting married, I mentioned that when you marry the person, you're going to marry their debt, unless you make a prenup or a legal agreement that the debt is not going to go into you, and all of that. But maybe you've been 1 year married, or 2 years, 3 years. So now you have to be always checking how much debt do we have, either like debt from investments or mortgages, car payments, credit cards, student loans, medical bills, all of these things. You need to always have kind of like a financial health checkup. You know what I mean? When you go to the doctor every year and you get your physical check, they run your blood test, they tell you if you're deficient on vitamin D, vitamin C, maybe you're, I don't know, have other things going on. So I feel like asking these questions and always checking for how much you're currently debt you have, this is gonna give you a good report on how is your financial health. Honestly, even if you think like, oh, I think I have an idea, I have 10K credit cards, it's always nice to check. Actually open your bank statements and your financial reports, put it on the table, because transparency is the first step towards financial freedom. Because if you don't disclose that maybe you have a Sephora credit card and you don't tell your husband you own 5,000, I don't know, it's an example. It can happen though, in Sephora. And then let's say that you both are working towards financial freedom and you don't disclose these things, then it's going to create obviously fights and distrust. So the goal here is to open the conversation and be transparent, right? Like, I bet, girl, you will not like if he's hiding that from you, so you also do the same. After all, we're trying to be more comfortable talking about money over here. That was question number 2. Now, question number 3. How do you feel about our spending habits? This is a good question, because this question is going to open the door about budgeting, right? Like, if you both are free spenders and maybe you're taking, getting takeout every day or eating out every day, maybe your lifestyle choices are very like free when it comes to money, then you have to check and be like, hey, how do we feel about our spending habits? Do we actually have good spending habits, or maybe we're going a little wild and we need to be a little more tight right now because we have shared financial goals? Question number 1, about buying a house, having a kid, helping a parent, or something like that. And you can also ask as a sub question for this is, what areas can we grow together? Maybe coming to an agreement that you're only going to go out to a date night maybe once a week instead of like 3 times a week. And sometimes they're not even date nights, right? They are just like, I'm just lazy, I just want to eat out, I don't feel like cooking. And those days are valid, because trust me, there is days of days in the week. But if you're just doing this out of a bad habit, then this question can bring up to light, or bring some light to maybe you're doing some habits that are keeping you financially stuck, financially broke. So it's always good to ask, hey, how do we feel about our spending habits? Do we like how we're spending, or maybe are we spending too much on things we don't even use, like gym memberships? I have to freeze mine. I told my husband, hey, I haven't been at the gym as I used to, so I think I'm gonna freeze the gym membership, because we had like the most nice premium membership for all of us, and he was like not going for over 8 months, and that one had like childcare and I wasn't using it, and I have a gym at home. So I'm like, you know what, these doesn't make sense right now. And also, I don't like having things or be paying for things that I don't use, because I feel that that's something that it's energy that you choose are paying, that you are investing in, and you don't use. So it does feel a little bad. So I'd rather put that money somewhere else where we're actually going to invest, see some returns, or maybe do something else with that money, or just save it. So always ask this question, and this is a great question to ask throughout your marriage journey. Question number 4. Do we need to update or adjust our budget? I know the word budget, but honestly, life changes. There is always something going on. Sometimes emergency happens, maybe a parent or you get sick, or there is a debt in the family that you need to help your family, and emergencies happen, so you need to adjust to your budget, right? So it's always healthy to check, hey, do we need to adjust our budget? Maybe you had a big expense, a car accident, something that your insurance didn't cover. Maybe kids, job, you lose a job, or you change jobs, or there is a shift, there is new expenses, new medical bills. So this is a question that you need to be checking in regularly, because this is something that me and my husband always check. Hey, do we need to adjust the budget in the next 3 months? Maybe we are paying off one thing and maybe another emergency came, or in our business there's always emergency happening, so we need to adjust the budget and see what needs to be put as a priority when it comes to paying, or what can wait a little or has low interest rate, or what is not as important as right now. Family emergencies, kids, all of that always comes firsthand. And it's always for you to adjust your budget, right? Like, you don't want to be negligent or just not be educated about how to do a budget. And then if you have a family emergency and you want to you can't continue spending, just like blindly when there is an emergency, and now you have to make that payment, but you can't continue doing this unless you generate or add one or two extra sources of income. And even if you add them, you have to be mindful of how are you circulating your wealth, your money, right? We don't want to just spend freely and not knowing where it's actually going, or is this making sense right now in this life right now, this life change or situation or phase that we're in. Remember that your lifestyle is not the same that it was 3 years ago, or when you were dating, when you were engaged, or when you were recently married. Life is always going to happen, so you have to adjust accordingly. So that was question number 4. Question number 5. Are we both happy with how we divide financial responsibilities? This is most if you are in a relationship or in a marriage where you contribute financially. And are you happy paying according to your paycheck? Maybe he earns more. And if you're going 50-50, honestly, girl, that's not even fair, because if you make less than him, there's no reason why you should be paying 50% completely. But that is just my opinion. If you paying according to your income, or maybe you just have one bill, or he pays everything, but you are the one who puts money into some investments or savings, then you ask him, and you also share, are you happy with how are we dividing financial responsibilities, right? In my case, he's the full provider. He takes care of all of that, but we do sit a lot of times throughout the month and also throughout the year to talk about our investments. I help manage some of the investments. I do manage the stock investment portfolio that I'm building, and I help in other side of businesses. But when it comes to expenses of our household, he's the one that takes care of it, and I am perfectly fine with that. So if I ask this question, we both are happy with that. But it didn't happen like that at the beginning of, right, like the relationship. Like, we didn't know, I didn't know. I can guess, what's in his mind. He can guess, what do I want out of this marriage when it comes to finances? So this is something that you need to be comfortable, asking. Or maybe you want to save to, maybe you want to get your braces, maybe you want to get a job done when it comes to your health or something. And if you don't make a lot of money, then you need to discuss that. Hey, I won't be contributing for groceries or this bill, because I do want to put that money into investments, or maybe a medical procedure I want to get, right? Either your teeth or your skincare. You know what I mean, girl. So this is always that you both have to be happy, because this can create resentment. If you feel resentment and it's tied to money, then this can block a lot of the abundance in our life. This can create an energetic block, and you will have this bad feeling of resentment when you are paying this bill or contributing to this item. So that was question number 5. Question number 6. What's one money lesson you have learned recently? I love this question. I feel like this is one of the questions that I ask my husband when we're dating. We go on a date once a week. That is a non-negotiable. We always have date night every Thursday or Friday, and we have done that since we were engaged. And in our date night, we ask certain questions about our relationship, And I ask this question not just for money, but I just ask him, hey, what's one thing that you have learned recently, right? Like he's always studying. I'm always learning. I'm educating myself a lot about the stock market, metaphysics, the spiritual world, everything. So I'm always excited to share what I have learned. And he also is excited about what he has learned in his business. But this question, we're putting it just around money. So what's one money lesson you have learned recently? This will encourage personal growth, financial growth, and also it's going to give you the chance to be burnable, right? Like maybe there is something you didn't know that you were not educated about and you learn it. So you're going to be burnable and share, hey, I didn't know that, or I didn't know I have this bad spending habit, or I didn't know I have this energetic block when it comes to money, or I didn't know that if I pay with resentment or fear of scarcity, money's not going to come to me. So be burnable, to invite him to be burnable. And if he shares something, please don't judge. We don't want to judge men, because if you judge on the things they didn't know, then how are you expecting him to open up more when it comes to money? So be a good listener, be an active listener. And that means that you're going to listen. You're going to ask questions about his answer. You're not going to judge, right? Like when you share something burnable about yourself, especially with money, you have to be very careful in not judging, right? Because you wouldn't like that judgment back. Learn something about your budget, about finances. If you're reading or watching these videos or similar videos here on YouTube, share something that you learn about money. Or maybe you're listening a lot of money books, then you can always share that. I feel that it's very important to share some knowledge, share what you have learned to grow together. This is one of my favorite things to do with my husband. We share what we have learned, and always brings that kind of like excitement, like, hey, what have you learned? And I'm excited to see what he learns. Then I share what I have learned and how I am planning to apply it in my life. This can also give you or keep you accountable when it comes to, if you learn something new and you want to start something new, then now he knows that you're trying to stick with it. So he will keep you accountable. Remember, teamwork. So that was question number 6. Question number 7, how are we planning for the future? Either investments, retirement, or insurance. Money conversations shouldn't be only about today, about the moment, about the week, about next paycheck, or about next payment of mortgage. Money conversations should also include the future, right? Remember, we're trying to grow this beautiful life together, bring kids into this beautiful world, raise them, give them the best financial, life that we can, and knowledge and best life and experience in this beautiful physical world. But for that, we need to plan, right? Like we need to budget, because we do live in a physical world. Therefore, we are going to plan for this physical world. And by doing that is Biyuyo. Money, money, money. Because you want to start planning for the future. Hey, are we going to move states? Are we going to buy rental properties? Are we going to start investing into a 401k, stock market, day trading, stocks, crypto, retirement? How is our retirement going to look? If you're young, maybe you think, oh, this is not important. Like, I'll worry that. I will worry when it's time. But trust me, time is non-existent, and it's always better to plan for the future. And although it doesn't really exist, if you know what I mean, I love metaphysics, but hey, let's not got there, let's just plan about insurance, life insurance, all of those topics, so you can also feel safe. Because when you feel safe as a woman, I feel that you can flourish better. You can start healing your relationship with money if you feel protected, if you feel safe. So if you either have a savings account, or you start planning for your retirement or your investments, you're going to feel safe, because money, that's what it does. Money is tied into the root chakra, and the root chakra means safety, grounding. So that's what money does. It gives you that safety in this physical world, right? Like if you have money, you feel safe that you're going to make your next payment, that you're going to eat, that you're going to pay the roof over your head, that you're going to pay for your kids' education. So that is very tied to your root chakra. You need to be safe. You need to be grounded. So if we work together and plan for a future, you can thrive better as a feminine woman and continue asking God for your desires when you feel safe. because when we feel in a scarcity mode, in like survival mode, I don't have money to pay, I need to grind, you're very disbalanced and you don't tap into your creativity as a woman. So this question is one of my favorites. How are we planning for the future? This can open beautiful conversations with your partner, and just let him talk, let him explore and discuss, and don't judge, and just listen and plan together. Question number 8: how do you feel about our financial relationship overall? This is kind of like to wrap it up question, like how do we feel about our financial relationship overall? Are we doing a good job talking about money? Are we checking in emotionally with each other when it comes to money? Because money is more than just numbers, than just a saving account. Money is more just than math. It's about safety. It's about being on the same team. It's about building together. It's about investing and planning for the future together. It's about our future generations. It's about our generational wealth, the legacy you want to leave behind. Ask that question. See if you guys are doing a good job when it comes to money conversation, planning for the future, planning about future investments or the kids. And this is just general questions, right? We can go more in depth. Let me know if you want that, because I'll give you a bonus question. Other one that I love: how are we going to do with kids? Like, how is our finances going to look with kids? Many people think that once you get married, you're done, kind of like everything is planned for you. And no, you have to do that job with your partner, right? So how is that going to look? Like, if you have a job, are you planning to quit the job? And if you don't quit the job, you need to plan for childcare in the days that the kid is sick. Maybe you have family members or not, like who's going to be helping you on the days that they can go to school or childcare. You still need to work. Even if you work from home, like that's very stressful. You need to take care of the kid and then work. So you need to plan and talk about these things so you can feel safe, so you can have a better idea. And remember, the life, we cannot control life. We can choose control how we react. But if you at least are trying to prepare yourself for an emergency or a life change or a life event like having a child, you are going to have a better understanding with your partner. Hey, this is how our life can look, right? Life is not guaranteed. Anything can happen at any moment, but at least you are doing your best. You're giving your maximum effort at this physical life. So I always love to plan. Me and my husband, we plan since the beginning. I'm not going to work. I'm going to follow my, passions, because we had businesses. There is no need for me to work. I was working as a mechanical engineer. That was very stressful, very time consuming. And I do want to be a stay-at-home mom. In the meantime, I can do other things like this. Now I day trade, I invest in the stock market, crypto, and I'm doing day trading. I'm learning a lot about the stock market while having a YouTube channel, while being a present mom. So all of this is not by mistake or by luck, it's by planning ahead. Like, this is the fruits of our planting that we did years ago, talking about money, planning about money, asking all these uncomfortable questions. Hey, how are we happy with our spending habits? What lessons have you learned about money? Are we planning for the future? 5 years ago, this is my future right now. So when we plan, hey, how do you like to see me in 5 years? 5 years ago, I was planning for this life, and honestly, is way better than I thought. But all of that is not by luck. Many people think, oh, she just got lucky. Girl, look, God loves me just like He loves you. I just love to plan. I love to manifest. I love to create. I know I love to learn about all the physical and the metaphysical universe laws to apply them. But also the fact that we're here in this physical world, we need to be financially literate and savage. We need to like plan for it, talk about these, because money talks don't have to be stressful. Okay. I know they're going to be stressful at the beginning because this is something new, but these money talk can bring you together, because it will give you the sense that you're working towards a shared goal for your family, for your future generations. So start with these questions so you can get more comfortable talking about it, and you will be very surprised of the things that you are going to be opening up, or that he's going to be opening up about, money. So thank you for watching, my goddesses. Let me know in the comments if you want part two, because we're just getting, at the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to send this to another sister that is married, that is shy to talk about money, or someone that can benefit from this video. Thank you, my goddess, and I'll see you in the next episode. Adios. And here's my cat. She's always, always my secretary over here.